Hey folks, how are you today? I am Sean in Alaska. Thank you for joining me on this gorgeous, it is beautiful outside. Sunday here in Alaska. Start everything off with one of the first people in here today. Well, the first one that I saw was Art, and Art was asking about the earthquake, and I posted about that in the community tab for the members. So this morning was the first ever morning I had an earthquake in the cabin. It's about 7 o'clock this morning, just after 7 a.m. I'm laying on the couch over there and sitting there, and I'm scrolling through and answering comments on the channel, and all of a sudden the couch started doing this, and the whole cabin started shaking, and I never heard any pops or dings or anything break or anything like that. So it was super, super awesome. All the windows and doors work good. So apparently the cabin is semi earthquake proof. It was a small one though. It was only a 5.4, but it was the first time I've had one while I was in here. So pretty awesome, pretty exciting. Anyway, Art, good to see you, my friend. Awesome to have you here today. Basically, how I do this, guys, I like to say hello to everybody. If you have a comment, a question, or whatever, just directed specifically towards me, and I happen to miss it, do me a favor and put it in caps and ask it again. And if I've already answered it, I'll just skip over it. No big deal. I see Art. Marcus jumped in here. Good to see you, my friend. Always glad to have you in here. I do these every Sunday, and I'll be doing them every Sunday probably until about May, and then we'll play it by ear to see how long I can go into May before it becomes an issue with the internet, because I do everything streaming it off my phone's hotspot, and once we get busy down here, our cell towers just can't handle the traffic, so it makes it really difficult to even upload videos from the cabin. I usually have to go into town to do that, so we'll play it by ear and see how long we can go, but figure at least May. Carol, good to see you. Glad you could make it today. Awesome to have you here. Everybody saying hi to everybody. Deborah, good to see you. Great that you can catch a live too. Very awesome to have you. Ward, good to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. Carol, thank you very much for becoming a member of Sean in Alaska. Greatly appreciated. I do have a link pinned. I'm still trying to figure out the whole membership thing. So I did share a post this morning for members on the community tab. But generally speaking, if I share something with the members first, then eventually you're all going to see it, because I'll share it again for everybody to see. But I haven't figured out exactly what I'm going to do with that yet, but I greatly appreciate the support that you guys are giving me by becoming members. Built on the Rock Homestead, good to have you, my friend. Awesome to see you here today. Man, I'm telling you, Art, when you get up here, it's just going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. I just hope some of the snow melts. We did have, we had a storm come through on Friday. Was it? Yeah, it was St. Patrick's Day. And we ended up getting like 5 more inches of snow. So I fired up the snowblower and got it out. We were supposed to have a bunch more over the weekend, but it missed us, which was good. But I guess it poured last night. I never heard a thing, but we had wind. Man, did we have wind. And right now, like I said, it's sun shining, beautiful day outside today. Down below here, as soon as it scrolls back around again, I'll read it out to you, because I have this little ticker down here on the bottom, right? Inside temperature, the loft was 66 degrees or 19 Celsius. I remember to do it this week. The kitchen right now, 69 degrees or 20 and a half Celsius, and outside just about 0 Celsius or 33 degrees. Small chance of snow showers later this week, and temperatures above freezing every day this week. Pretty awesome. Pretty darn awesome. Come on, break up. You can't get here fast enough. Kristen, how are you? Good to see you. Christy and Steve, awesome. While you're having cocktails on the patio. Fountain on the wings of the smoker. Nice. Very nice. I'm going to do leftover corned beef and cabbage for dinner tonight. I did a nice big corned beef sandwich yesterday. I might do an actual Reuben tonight, but love me some corned beef. Love it, love it, love it. Marion, good to see you. Glad you can make it today. Awesome to have you here. Can someone tell my dog she doesn't need to bark whenever chicken sings the "I laid an egg" song? Well, the dog is saying, "Hey, do you hear the chicken? She laid an egg." The dog's just letting you know in case you missed it. My chickens love to sing the "I just laid an egg" song all the time too. They're a trip. They're something else. David Evans, good to see you, my friend. Awesome you could be here today. Matt, AK, how are you, my friend? Glad you could be here today. William, as always, good to see you. Happy Sunday afternoon to you as well. Susan, glad you could make it today. Awesome to have you here. Big Bear Prepper is in the house as well. Robert Lemonade, thank you very much, Robert. Always, every time you watch one of our videos, you leave thank you, and that's pretty awesome. I can always look forward to a comment from you when you've watched the video, and I greatly appreciate it, my friend. Scrolling down here, trying to catch up. There's Liz. How you doing, Lizzie Liz? Good to see you. Everybody's saying hi to everybody. I think that's one of the things I enjoy so much, too, is that everybody's saying hi to everybody else. Karen, awesome to have you here today. Chickens survived the great earthquake of 2023, Karen. I don't even think I heard them. They weren't even phased. Usually, they'll make some noise if something weird's going on, but they were not even phased a bit. I didn't hear a thing from them. They're probably standing there going, "What the heck is going on here?" Ray Davis, good to see my friend. I did. I survived the first quake in the cabin. I've been through some big earthquakes in Alaska, well over 7 on the Richter scale, and fives coming from California. A lot of earthquakes down there too, but Alaska gets some big ones. And with the 5, no issues whatsoever. I don't know what's going to happen if we get a 7. We'll see. But I'll let you guys know right away if everything's, that everything's okay. Kathy, good to have you here. Awesome to see you today. Henry Leslie, Vermont. Glad you could pop in this afternoon. Greatly appreciated. Everybody saying hello to everybody. I'm doing fantastic, Liz. I hope you're doing great too. Cap Bell, Mark, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you today. Bird Dog, awesome to have you here today. I'm doing fantastic. I hope you are as well. That's crazy, right? 90 miles from Mexico snowed on Friday. Last week it was in the mid 80s. Prefer the 80s. Texas gets cold, man. When I lived in Houston, I left Fairbanks, Alaska, and I moved to Houston, Texas. They had an ice storm come through, and part of my territory was Dallas, and I was in Dallas when that thing hit. And man, everybody that I was working with we were outside walking to grab some lunch and slip sliding everywhere. And I said, "Stop this," and walked back over to the car and grabbed my cleats for my feet, threw those on, and went walking through the parking lot. And all these Texans are looking at me like, "What the heck are you wearing?" And of course, Sean. Right now, I'm scrolling through, seeing everybody saying hi to everybody. Did I miss Jerry? I must have missed you in there, Jerry. How you doing, Canadian? Good to see you, my friend. Eves, glad you could make it as well. Awesome to see you today. Cindy Squirrel off grid. How are you doing, Cindy? Awesome to see you today. And Deborah's got a question for me. What am I going to start on the walls? It'll go quick since you're in the cabin and can stay on it. I've already started. I have. So I'm building the 2 cupboard/closets upstairs, and one of them is, other than doors on the outside, is completely done. And I'll finish this one this week. And that one will be in next week's video. So I've already started doing it, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure I won't. I know for a fact I won't get them all done before the weather gets to the point where I'll be doing a lot of stuff outside. Because as soon as we get the snow melt and I can get outside and start doing stuff, I have the deck to put on the front of the cabin that I want to get on as soon as possible. Deck and stairs, so I can quit using the ladder to get in and out of the house. And then, of course, the big project this year is the garden and the new chicken coop that I want to build for the bigger coop for the girls. Look at that. I am all caught up. That is awesome. That is crazy. So what can I answer for you guys? Anything, any questions, anything going on? I can tell you what I've been doing this week. Like I said, I was working on finishing up the first of the pantries or closets upstairs. Yesterday, I got all the shelves and everything framed into the one that's on this side of the bed, on my side of the bed. And this week, I will be going ahead and I've got all the wood for it already. I'll be going ahead and installing all the finish on the outside of that. And then maybe at some point this week, I'll work on cabinets for the, or not cabinets, but doors for the closets upstairs. I'm working in the bathroom on building a shelving unit for my clothes, basically my everyday clothes. So, man, there's going to be a lot of laundry done and a lot of going back and forth, moving stuff in from the trailer, because I have quite a few articles of clothing. But whenever I move, it's kind of nice because I get to throw most of that stuff away. I go, yeah, no. So yeah, it'll be a busy week this week. That's for sure. It's been a busy week for the last week. I was absolutely lazy on Friday. While I was cooking the corned beef and cabbage, I did my traditional watching of The Quiet Man with John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara. And then after I got done with eating dinner, I went ahead and watched Boondock Saints because I love that. Boondock Saints 1 and 2, but I just watched the first one. And then didn't do much at all. Yesterday, I was piddling around here working on some stuff. Like I said, I was working on that closet upstairs. Then I got bored and drove 32 miles, probably 40 miles round trip to go get an ice cream cone. I did need propane too. So, but yeah, this was kind of a lazy, relaxing weekend. I've kind of been pushing myself a little bit too much, and it's nice to be able to slow down a bit. Oh, William say living on the East Coast, 6 miles from the ocean, earthquake is not a problem. Yeah, you guys get hurricanes, and we get hurricane type storms up here, but they don't last because the water's too cold, and they're not classified as hurricanes. But we get, obviously, on the Pacific Ocean, they're called, somebody help me with the word. It's not cyclones, right? The Pacific is, I think, cyclones, in or maybe that's down south. Anyway, we have it's a different name here, I think, when they come in from the Pacific Ocean. But we get them. They just don't have the intensity. They don't last as long. I may have asked before, Sean. I'm going steel roof. Yes, I'm going steel roof for sure. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one is the maintenance on the roof is almost zero. Number two, or actually probably number one, that would be number two. Number one is I can install it pretty easily myself. And then the snow will shed with a 9/12 pitch on my roof. That snow is going to shed like nobody's business. So I won't have a whole lot of extra weight on there year round, which is one of the reasons why I want to go that route. Christy, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate that. If you hit the like button, the thumbs up, basically it tells YouTube, hey, a lot of people are liking what they're seeing right now. Let's suggest it to other people, and it's great for the channel. And that's the same thing whenever you watch a video. If you like what you're watching, hit the thumbs up. If you don't like what you're watching, hit the thumbs down, because guess what? It still says, hey, look, somebody's paying attention to what's going on the channel here, so let's suggest it to other people. Madhunanda, good to see you. How are you doing today? Awesome to have you here. Ward, when are you going to shave? Today, Ward. The beard is gone today. Which means, yes, Ward, you have to shave now too. Susan wants to ask how the potlood's hanging on the wall behind you looks like some kind of magic. I just did that last night, because yesterday was the first time I actually did dishes inside the cabin. And let me tell you, it's a little challenging when you don't have a sink. So at least in the trailer, even though I didn't have running water, I had a sink so I could pour everything out when I was done. I could leave the dishes in the sink and rinse them off. And but it's super simple. Let me show you. Oh. Right? There's two screws, one there and one there. And just don't put them in too deep, because there's always a lip on the lid. And if you leave them sitting out about that much, it'll catch the lip of that lid and you can hang them right on the wall. But I was tired of looking at them up on the top. I won't do that with the cast iron ones, because A, they're too heavy, and B, if they fall, I don't want them to take the chance of them breaking. But with those cheapo glass ones, super easy to hang them up. And then I did hang up, here, let me go to Ward's comment, because it's a little smaller. If you look back over here, right, I've got everything hanging up now, pot-wise. And it's super nice. When I'm done with the kitchen, all the pots, all my daily pans will be hanging on the wall for sure, because it's super easy to get to everything and to see it and grab it right away. How about a sneak preview of the closets for us members? Everyone else can shut their eyes. I can't get, I don't know if the camera will go that far or not. Let me see. Hang on. You guys are all watching. And since you're all watching here right now, let's see if I can get this to come out here enough. It won't go far enough, guys. Sorry. I can't get it to, I can't get that cord to go that far. I tried. I will, I'll post a picture of it for the members tomorrow. And then for anybody who's not a member, you'll see it on Tuesday. So I'll show you just a quick snapshot of what it looks like. It's still pretty rough because I haven't trimmed them out or anything, but man, the wood's beautiful. The wood is absolutely gorgeous. Russell at Raspberry Rock Off Grid. I love Boondock Saints, dude. I love the music. I love the attitudes. It is just it's a fun movie. And being an Irish American, I had relatives that were kind of like that. You know, they didn't walk around with guns and kill people, but they would, you know, the bar scene where they get in a fight with the Russians was just absolutely, and it was just like family Christmas for me. It brought a tear to my eye. William Dafoe is awesome in that movie. He is incredible in that movie. It's not a movie you want to watch with the kids. I'll tell you that right now. It's not a kids 2 movie. Scrolling through here. I agree, metal roofing. It's to me, it's just, I could put a composite roof on there. People do it up here all the time, but then it's just going to hold the snow. And I want that snow off that roof on the ground and melting as fast as it can in the spring so that it's gone. The other thing I like about the metal roof is I will install gutters, and I'll have barrels lined up underneath the gutters on both sides of the cabin so that I can get water, you know, basically reclaim the water that runs off the roof during all the rain that we have up here. And we do have quite a bit of rain. I am on the Kenai Peninsula, and peninsulas generally get rain. But I can use that water for the garden, for the chickens, for a lot of stuff. And being that I am off grid and I am hauling water, and I don't have a well or anything like that, it's going to come in super, super handy. Ward, I did not, but I have an offer in. If you're talking about a regular stove for the kitchen, I didn't get a wood stove either. But if you're talking about a regular stove for the kitchen, I've got an offer into a couple down in Homer on one that will work without electricity. It's an older stove. It's not pretty, but it'll work. And it's already set up for propane and everything. But they're out of town, so I'm waiting for them to come back. And I keep seeing older stoves popping up. And my problem is that if I I could get a modern stove right now and I can put it in here, right? It'll be fine. But I have no electricity. So then I would have to, anytime I use the oven, I would either have to have the generator running because the igniter on the oven is electric, or, either have the generator running, or I'd have to have much more in the way of battery backup than I do to be able to run it off the battery. So I'm not really set up to do that yet. I'm looking for an older one to begin with, or a commercial one. If I can find a Wolf Range that has a pilot light, then I would be super awesome with that as well. Oliver Jackson, good to see you, my friend. Awesome to have you today. Am I having a Fu Manchu mustache? I have done that in the past. I've done the Fu Manchu mustache, or the 70s kind of look going down to here. I've done the goatee. I've done just the goatee and no mustache, but I'll keep the mustache because I've had that forever, but the beard will be gone today. That's for sure. But I don't want to. Yeah, I was thinking about that, Matt. Matt's suggesting I get a plastic utility sink. I was thinking about picking one of those up because it wouldn't hurt to have one outside either for, cleaning fish and that kind of stuff. It would not hurt at all. So I might look at something like that down the road. But my first go-to for most of that kind of stuff is Facebook Marketplace, because I can get it for pennies on the dollar of what I would pay if I went to the orange store or something like that for it. So I don't know, Mark, if you were in here, but the first live that I did, I think it was in the cabin, and Ward was here when it happened, and there's a lot of folks in here that were too, was underneath the scaffolding over by the front window. And it was the first time snow ever shed off this roof. And it sounded like a freight train. And then the second time, it was the entire roof released at once. That was everything that was left. And the whole building was rocking. So, yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean by that. Because I stopped. I was like, whoa. Charles and Annalyn, good to see you from the Philippines. Awesome to have you here today. And I hope you guys all had a wonderful St. Patrick's Day. I love everything about being Irish, and I love the cultures. I love the tradition, and I'm a very proud American, but I'm very proud of my Irish heritage as well. And to me, that's always a super fun holiday. It's a super fun holiday. He's gonna roll off the prayer now from Boondock Saints. Nice. Nomine Padre Spiritus Sancto. I'm Irish Catholic, obviously, too. So I grew up listening to parts of that prayer on a regular basis every Sunday. I do too, right? So Deborah's making the comment here about the open shelves in the kitchen. It is super easy, and I do plan on, when I get my counters put in and I do my cupboards on the top, I don't think they're going to have doors. And I'm going to do that for two reasons. Number one, they're going to be used to store stuff that I use in the kitchen on a regular basis. They're not going to be generally used to store food, because that's what the pantry's for, right? The pantry will eventually be just food storage. But it makes it really easy to grab whatever you want. Now, obviously, under the counters will have doors, and that'll be for stuff that I don't use as often. But everything above, plates, cups, all that kind of stuff, if you have it right there, it's easy to grab for anybody. And you don't have to look for it. And obviously, if you're doing it every day, you don't have to look for it. You know which cupboard it's always in. You know where the silverware is always at. That kind of stuff. But more importantly, it makes you put everything away every time you're done using it. You can't leave it a mess. And I can be a sloppy person at times, so I definitely want to do whatever I can to force myself to be less sloppy. Lipstick Lodge, Linda, how are you today? Good to have you, as always. If I missed anybody, how you doing? Good to see you. I'm still scrolling through here, saying hi to everybody. And Miss Karen wants to know if I'm still getting eggs. Yeah, Brother Will was over today, and I actually video recorded it. So for those who don't know, Brother Will is, I grew up calling his mom, Mom, and he grew up calling my mom and dad, Mom and Dad. And we've known each other forever. And that's where I was originally staying in my motorhome when I first moved up, and in the trailer when I first moved up. And then I ended up buying this piece of property off of him and his wife. But he buys treats for the chickens, and he keeps them in the fifth wheel trailer. So every time he comes over, he starts yelling at the chickens, and they come running because they know when they hear his voice, they're getting a treat. So he was over today and giving them treats, and then he popped it open and he said, "Dude, you got 8 eggs in here." So I got to go out and collect eggs a little later on. But they're starting to lay on a regular basis, nice eggs. Matter of fact, the thumbnail picture for this week's video, those eggs were from the chickens. So yummy to have fresh eggs every day. Mother Nanda wants to know, will I be painting inside? I might. Well, I will and I won't. My walls themselves probably won't be painted, but I'm thinking of doing something with the ceiling that will require a whitewash, which is kind of a paint. And in the kitchen, the ceiling in the kitchen and the walls in the kitchen more than likely will end up having some paint on them, just because it'll be a lot easier to clean after cooking, right? Because those are the areas that, especially under, let me point this up here so you can see, especially under a roof area like that in the kitchen, it could collect a lot of greases and oils and dirt. And so I'll want a surface that I can clean up there very well. So there will be paint, but not a whole lot inside the cabin itself. Wendy Benjamin, good to see you. Glad you could make it today. Question, when painting an already painted metal roof, do you have to prime it by, I have no idea. That is something I don't know. And that I would ask Dr. Google that question, because I don't know anything about metal roofs other than when you buy them, they come the color that I want to order them. That's all I know. Nice. Thanks, Liz. Greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it. I love it when people give the shout outs for the thumbs up. That's super awesome. Kevin Wright from Mount Pleasant, Michigan. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. David wants to know if I'll have running water in the cabin. Yes. I don't have a well, though. So kind of what I'm starting to work out in my head is that I'm going to use a 55-gallon drum, one of the big blue plastic drums. And I was talking to Brother Will about that today, and he says he might know where there's 3 of them brand new that I can get. I've never had anything in them, which is super awesome. So then if I were to be able to get those 3, obviously there'd be 1 at each corner to collect the rainwater, and then the 1 that I would have in here. And it'll be in the pantry against this back wall. And I'm going to use PEX piping to get it plumb to a sink here and get it plumb to a shower head. Probably outside to begin with, and then in the bathroom when I actually start doing the bathroom, and a 12-volt RV pump that will pump it, and then I'll run that through a on-demand water heater so that I can have hot and cold running water. So yes, I will have water in here well before I ever have a well. Definitely before I ever have a well. Yes, Kristen, I am going to do an outdoor kitchen. I just don't know how extensive it's going to be this year, but I plan on getting it started somewhat this year. I want to move my way more towards the back of the property and see what else I have back there, because it's pretty heavily wooded. And I'd like to keep as many trees as I can, but there's a whole bunch that are dying from the bark beetle here. So I'll be thinning out a lot of trees, and as I do that and work my way through, I'll get an idea where I want to put that. But I don't think I want it, like I don't want it on the side, on either side of the cabin. I think I kind of want that back behind the cabin so that, if I have family and friends come over, we're hanging out back behind the cabin. I can, get a couple of speakers, run some music out there, or maybe we just sit around a big old campfire and, play guitar and stuff like that. That would be a definite thing I would be interested in doing, but I plan on having a pretty extensive outdoor kitchen. Think kind of what Sean James did at My Self-Reliance in his first outdoor kitchen that he built. I love the way that he built out of rock, and I love the way that he had the grill, and he had the oven back behind him, that cob oven. But I'm going to do something a little more extensive with the oven because I've actually worked with those kind of ovens in the past. I want a big pizza oven. I want a wood-fired pizza oven in my backyard that I could just get out there. I've always wanted one, and I definitely plan on doing something like that. Genova, good to see you. Glad you can make it today. You can't kill me. I'm the funny man. The cat. The cat. That was a sad, sad part of the movie, man, when Rocco didn't make it. Rebel Canners, glad you could make it. Awesome to have you here today. Oh, and here we're going to rub it in. Brook trout saw 55 degrees from a chilly 55 in Venice, Florida. Man, it is right now. Let me stand up and look, and I'll tell you how much warmer it's gotten. We're at 36 degrees Fahrenheit right now, which is pretty awesome. I'm not going to complain about 36. I have a metal sink outside that I got for free from someone who tore out the old kitchen for a total remodel, and I could probably pick up. I mean, our entire grocery store is about to get remodeled, and I bet you I can pick up some fixtures from the grocery store. I bet you I could do that because I have some stainless steel stuff now, but I don't want to use that for anything in the cabin. But it'd be nice to pick up some sinks from the store. That's a cheap way to go. I didn't even think about that. I have open shelves up top. Looks awesome. Yeah, I think it would look super cool because then I could go with a really nice wood and really nice looking shelves in there. If they're not open, they're going to be glass front doors, one or the other, because I want to be able to see. I just love that look. I think that look is beautiful. Scotty, what's happening, bud? You're outside using your new barbecue pit. Very awesome. Scotty's Backyard Barbecue. That man has got so much knowledge and information when it comes to grilling. It's just amazing. Super, super nice guy. And I know I say that all the time about everybody that pops into but I've known Scotty for years, and he does some awesome, awesome stuff. Scotty, tell everybody how big the hot dog was that you made. He's made the biggest hot dog you'll ever hear of in your life, ever. There we go. Thomas Fry, good to see you, my friend. Glad you can make it today. Can I start from the beginning, please? Yes, hang on. Hi, folks. I'm Sean in Alaska. I'm glad you could. No, I'm not doing that, dude. Just go back and watch it again. Rocco had the best line. Is it dead? And my mom is Sicilian, so I have a ton of relatives like that, too. Dan Lahman, good to see you, my friend. Good to have you here. Everything is fantastic, and thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. I'm having a blast, and I make no qualms about the fact that I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm learning every single day, and I think that has probably been the most exciting and fun part of this whole thing. Is that every day I do something that I've never done before. I stand back and look at it. I'm not kidding you. I'll show. Okay, I will do it for sure. I will post on the community tab. Monday for members, Tuesday for everybody else. The way the wood looks on that one closet that I finished upstairs is incredible. Now, take into consideration, I have no trim on it yet, so the corners don't absolutely meet up. I didn't want to bother with doing the 45 cuts on it because I'm going to trim out the outside corners anyway. But it's gorgeous. It's just absolutely beautiful, and I got a new toy too to help me do it. Is water and bourbon an Irish thing? My grandma always drank hers that way. It's water and whiskey, and bourbon is whiskey. So yeah, my dad always drank. Well, for years he drank 7 and 7s, right? So Seagram 7, which is bourbon, and 7 Up. Well, I guess Seagram 7 is a blended whiskey. It's not a bourbon, but he drank Wild Turkey all the time, and Wild Turkey is a bourbon. So yeah, it's just a whiskey. It's an Irish thing. Sean Lehman, good to see you, my friend. Cabin's a long way from the light, isn't it? It's crazy. I mean, if you think about it, right, this time last year, I hadn't even built the first beam for this cabin yet, right, because we still had this much snow on the ground. But I was starting to buy the lumber to build the beams. So, yeah, it amazes me how far and how fast this thing has happened. It's just amazing to me. Blip Zero, how are you, my friend, from Anchorage? So what's on the chore list today? I got to get everything ready, obviously, for going back to work tomorrow. Monday, I do laundry in town at the laundromat, so I'll be going through the trailer and digging out more clothes so I can start washing extra clothes and deciding what I'm keeping and what I'm not keeping. But the rest of the day is probably going to be just working around I have one shelving unit to build, and then the rest of it will just be cleaning stuff up and moving more stuff in from the trailer. You thought about putting the pipes inside the floor and walls to warm and cool the house. I don't want to do anything in the floor. I am a not a proponent of floor heat. I've never liked it because growing up, every house that my parents had that had that radiant floor heating broke, and it always had problems. And while we have more modern stuff today that's a lot easier to do, I don't think that's going to be an issue. I still don't want to deal with it. So where I'm going to run my plumbing is, see the rafters up above me? It's all coming in the rafters and down through the walls. And there's only going to be 2 walls in here that have any plumbing whatsoever. And that's one of them, right? And there's just going to be a sink right there. And then on the other side is the bathroom wall. So they're going to be inside walls that'll be plumbed, so I never have to worry about them freezing as long as the inside of the cabin doesn't freeze. I don't think I need, once I get everything wrapped up and buttoned up here, I don't think I'm going to need anything to keep the floors warm or the walls warm. The ceiling's not an issue. I don't think that's going to be an issue at all. I still have no insulation in the floor, yet the inside of this cabin stays beautifully warm. So no, the answer to that is probably not. Ward, have I seen any tracks yet for bear? Nope, none. So they're still asleep, thank goodness. I really don't need them coming around anyway. Miss Karen wants to know, the trees I cut down, will I use them for firewood? Yes, I will, Karen. I'll use them for firewood and campfire wood. So the real small pieces that I'm really have no use for, I'll just go ahead and toss them aside and use them for the campfire. But the other stuff that's probably about, maybe 6 inches around or bigger, I'll use for fire for the wood stove, which I don't have yet. Mark, Sean, I thought your cabin was built. We would be over the building hump. I've come, right? Yeah, it's it doesn't end, right? I mean, because even if I finish this entire cabin this year, next year I'm putting a bedroom in, right? And then I got to build another building. Then I got to build another building. And it never stops, but I'm loving every minute of it. It is so fun. Paul Davidson, how are you, my friend? I will get there, right? One day at a time is basically how you, that's the way you eat an entire cake, right? One piece at a time. Just keep chopping away and you'll get there. We could have a pizza off. Really? You want to do a pizza off with me? I throw them. Can you toss pizzas? Because I literally spin them in the air. I can live on pizza. I love making pizza. I love eating pizza. I love everything about pizza. I can live on that food. If I was out there, I would make a stilt walk way to be off the ground, also be above the wooden floor. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea either. Some certain areas, my property, I've walked it all the way to the back. It's super dry, so I don't have any areas that are mushy at all, right? I have no real wetlands here, but it would still not be bad to take a couple of areas and leave them completely natural and pristine, and maybe build a raised up walkway over some of the tundra. That would be a cool idea. It is. I agree, William. The key to the pizza oven is that slate slab that you're cooking on is huge. The rest of it, obviously, fluffy crete or whatever you're going to do for the top is important. But that flat slab, man, that's the big issue. Kathy wants to know, when do I get to insulate my floor? Basically, anytime I want. I can go under there right now because there's no snow under the cabin. It's high enough off the ground, but I'm going to wait until everything thaws out, and then I'll get under there and do it at some point this summer. I will do it before next winter for sure, but it's not a 911 priority right now. It's something that as long as I do it before next winter, I'll be completely satisfied, completely happy. So here it was. He made an 8-pound hot dog, literally. And he's got a YouTube video. Scotty, make sure you share your channel. He made an 8-pound hot dog. And when I saw it, the first thing I thought of was, man, that's what bologna looks like. It comes in a stick about that big. It's huge, but it was a hot dog. Sunshine from Kenai, awesome to see you. You're late because walk is, we left early for a walk because snow is supposed to start right now. Oh, really? I didn't know we were supposed to have snow again. I'm out here looking at blue sky and clouds. It's not, but that doesn't mean anything. 15 minutes from now, it could be snowing. Bird Dog, welcome to membership. Awesome to have you here, man. Right, Anna? I'm telling you, it's a great movie. I loved part two. I was really sad by the end of part two, but I for a B movie, because that's what it was, right? This was not a big Hollywood thing. Man, it just took the movies by storm. It was awesome. Dan's asking, how ready am I for spring? I'm definitely over. Ready. I'm tired of this cold weather. That one day 70, the next day 20 weather in Pennsylvania, right? Will, my buddy Will, posted a picture the other day with a hand pew pew pointed at a mound of snow saying, leave now. That's about where I'm at with the snow. I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong, but there's it's like a tease. You get a beautiful day and you're like, okay, I need all the snow gone now because I need to get busy doing this. And then I can get the trailer moved off the property to whoever's going to be the next owner. And then, oh, yeah, I'm getting a million, way too many plans for this year. Way too many plans. Me, I am in Funny River, which is just outside of Soldotna. So I am. If you're coming down the highway, the Seward, or not the Seward Highway, but the Sterling Highway. If you're coming down the Sterling Highway, before you get to Soldotna, you have the town of Sterling. I'm on the other side of the river from the town of Sterling. Mark wants to know, when does the snow start melting? It's already started. I've already noticed quite a bit of melt. And for example, the 4 inches that we got, 4 to 5 inches that we got the other day, gone. I mean, it's what isn't gone already is been compacted down to maybe an inch on its own weight. So it once it starts to melt, it moves fast. Exactly, Matt. It just makes me nervous to have any kind of water lines and especially in, I mean, it would be worse. I'd be more nervous if this was on a slab, because this is obviously, it's up in the air. But um and I would run a screw through it. I know I would. I know me. I would be putting something on the floor or nailing flooring down or doing something, and I'd drive a nail right through it. And then I'd wonder, how come I got no water pressure? And then all of a sudden there'd be water everywhere. Yeah, that's not a thing I want to do. David wants to know if I've lost weight. I have. Since the beginning of this build all the way till now, I bet you I've lost. I bet you I've lost 40 pounds. I bet you I've lost at least 40 pounds. And then I'm really not drinking beer anymore. And it's not anything that was a decision that I made one day to say, hey, I'm going to stop drinking beer. I just all of a sudden just didn't buy any more beer. I bought 1 6-pack this year. I had 2 beers 3 nights in a row, and I've never wanted another beer again. And it's not that I don't ever want one, because I actually thought about picking some Guinness up for St. Patrick's Day. I just don't have the desire for it. And I like big, heavy beers, and there's a lot of carbs in them, and they put the weight on me like nobody's business. So yeah, I've lost about 40 pounds. I'd be interested to jump on a scale, because I don't own one, and I don't look. But I bet you for the first time in my life, or in the last 15 years, I might be below 200 pounds. That's my thought too, Russell. With a well-insulated floor, you don't need floor heating. That's the other side of it too. Sean, I do not have a wood stove set up in the cabin. I know where I want it to go. I already have the location, but I haven't gotten the stove yet. I put in an offer on a stove a couple of weeks ago, but it was gone before I could get up to Anchorage to buy it. So, which is a shame, because it was really pretty. It was a beautiful stove. Had a nice flat top on it. It was gorgeous. Beautiful glass door on the front, because that's my big requirements are, I need a flat top on the top and I need a glass door on the front. Those are really the only 2 requirements I have, but couldn't get it. Oh well, it'll happen. I'll find one. I know as soon as spring and summer hit, they're going to be all over the place. Yeah, I'm thinking that's going to be a huge difference for me too, Mark, is once I get that insulation in the floor. I mean, because right now the cabin's staying warm, but if you put your hand on the floor, it's cold. The floor is cold. So I think that once I have the floor insulated, I'm going to have to be having the windows open on a regular basis to keep this place cool enough inside, especially running a heater in here like I am right now. Henry Leslie, Vermont, 23 Fahrenheit and windy. Isn't Monday the first day of spring? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think you could tell the weather what to do. I think it's always going to do what it wants. Wickershire Project, awesome to have you here. Right? I'm not going fishing until there's fish. The river's a pretty regular thing. It's we have regular runs of the first ones that come up are kings, and all king salmon fishing in the Kenai has been closed. There'll be no early run fishing, no late run fishing, because they're not getting the escapement. They're not getting the fish that they need coming up that river. And well, I love catching king salmon. Do not get me wrong. I'm not a big fan of eating them. I will eat anything I catch. I will eat. Um, it brings a lot of money to the community. Those fishing guides taking people out to go king salmon fishing, but they're having some serious issues with that species, the Chinook, on the river. And I'm a firm proponent of saying 5 years, nothing. Shut that river down for 5 years and let that species come back. Either it's after 5 years, it's either going to come back on its own or it's not going to come back. And then they can make whatever other arrangements they want to make. But so the kings are the first thing that come through. Then we get a kind of a sprinkling of silvers mixed in with a ton of reds. So the sockeye come through. And then after that, we end up towards the end of that run, we end up getting the, God, I'm drawing a blank on them. They're the one salmon that you really don't want to eat. Ward, help me out here. They're called dog salmon because basically that's what people do is they'll feed them to their dogs. But we have some good runs of salmon that come through, but they're pretty specific on the time of year when they come through. So right now, nothing in the river. You might catch some trout right now, but you're not going to catch much. And I'm not going to fight the ice to get to the river. You know, I think, Karen, one of the first things that I'll do once I get an oven in this cabin is make pizza, and I'll do that. But I have videos already of me doing pizza in the cabin in the cast iron skillet, and it turned out awesome. It was delicious. Oh, and back to that, I didn't even comment on that. I have a lot of spices because I like to cook, and that's not all the spices I have. I like to cook. Karen asked if I've seen any eagles. I've seen a ton of them. A lot more eagles, I think, this year than I've seen in past years, all over the place. We have the two that I always get the pictures of. I plan on seeing more, though, next weekend because I think I'm going to get off the property next weekend and drive down to Homer and maybe spend the night down there just to get out and do something besides work on the cabin. So if I get down there, I'll take, obviously, the camera and everything else with me. If the weather's right. I'm not going down there if it's nasty like it was this weekend. But there's a ton of eagles. Every time you look, there's eagles. Starmaster in Fairbanks. Awesome. Very awesome. Glad to have you here today, man. That was the coldest place I ever lived, and it had the nicest summers of any place I've ever lived in my life. That place goes from minus 50 to minus 60. You could have 90 degrees and thunderstorms in the summer. Fairbanks, the interior is gorgeous. The interior is absolutely beautiful. I loved it there. I love that Norman Reedus and Sean Patrick Flannery are great friends because of Boot. That is super awesome. They are a great combination together. Todd, what's happening, brother? Good to see you. Yeah, exactly, right? What Ward said, there's 5 at a turn coming out of Funny River. Eagles. What did I replace beer with? Shine? I got a bottle of Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey up there. I'm just not drinking at all. I've been drinking tea and coffee and water, and I'm just no desire right now. None whatsoever. So I'm saving a ton of money. I'm okay with that. Henry Leslie, have yourself a great day, my friend. Good to see you as always. Yeah, right. Ray Davis, been watching what's going on in the Sierras. Talk about some snow melt. It's going to be brutal. When spring hits, it is going to be absolutely brutal for the Sierra Nevadas. There are parts of the Sierra Nevadas with 60 feet of snow, not inches, feet of snow. And when I was younger, growing up in California, we would get massive snowstorms and have massive snowpack. But this is the first one they've had in a while. So the spring is going to be very interesting for the state of California. Somebody posted, I don't know if it was, maybe it was on TikTok that I saw it, because I'm on TikTok as well. They posted, I think it was the Mojave River. This guy posted it, and he goes, I've lived here for 47 years, and this is the first year I've ever seen water in the Mojave River. And that'll tell you all you need to know. It's going to be incredible when spring comes. In Alaska, there are no fat people. That are just people with a lot of layers. That's true, right? That is true. I don't really do the super touristy things like the fur rondy. Although I thought about doing it this year, mainly because I'm a single guy by myself. I don't have a significant other, and if I was going to go to something like that, it would be to go there with a significant other to go have some fun together. So for me, that's not a big deal. I would like to go for the just for the ceremonial start of the Iditarod, right, to see the dog sleds going through, which is over now. That race is done. And I would like to go up to Willow to see the actual start up there, because that's a lot fewer people. I'm not really into the big crowds anymore. Remy at Rem's Family Farm, how are you, my friend? Good to see you as always. Nanny Goat Acres, glad you could make it today. Awesome to see you here. Area rugs or keep a bare floor toasty. Yep. Yeah, I'll pick up some. So the floor in the main part here in the living room, in the open part, will be wood. And then the floor in the kitchen obviously will be a cleanable surface. But I will have throw rugs over the wood floor out there just because of that reason. They're comfy, right? They're just awesome. I'm not really worried about. Russell gives me grief all the time. You're going to be sorry you didn't insulate your floor. I can literally sit underneath my cabin. I might actually be able to do it in this chair in almost this exact position. So it's not going to be that difficult because this cabin is off the ground quite a bit. So it should be pretty easy to get up underneath there and hold the insulation up. It's not going to be a back-breaking procedure to get the insulation up on there. Right. There goes Russell. I'm getting behind here. How did that happen? I got to get caught up. Thank you very much, Matt. Pink salmon, the pink salmon, or the dog salmon, and Todd and Ward. I get that a lot. I'm glad I didn't, and I'm going to tell you why I'm glad I didn't, because you saw me building it. You saw how much rain and water was on top of this wood, and it would have done nothing but soak the insulation underneath this floor. And so for that reason alone, I am glad that I did not insulate it. Would it have been easier? Yes. It would have been a lot easier to insulate that and then deck the top of it. It would have been just so much easier, but it would have been completely soaked. And then it would have been ice, and it would have been a nightmare. I think it would have been a nightmare. So I'm glad I didn't. Man on the street, Al, how you doing, my friend? Awesome to see you. Just hope he doesn't do it in a kilt. The return of the kilt is coming. I'm going to warn you now. The kilt is coming. Ward's saying the silvers are after the reds. They are. But we also seem to get silvers with reds on occasion. And then we get pinks with reds on occasion, too. So I don't know if they're just confused fish or what. What do I do with my trash? In Alaska, we can dump off our garbage at the dumps for free. So we have a transfer station on my way to work every morning. I can swing in there because it's open 24/7. I can swing in there and drop my garbage off. So it costs me nothing to throw anything away. The compostable stuff, as soon as spring starts and I get myself better set up, I'll have a bucket for compostable stuff, and I'll start a big compost pile. I'll maybe feed a bunch of the chickens too. But generally speaking, we can drop all of our garbage off for free. So matter of fact, I'm going to the dumps today after I'm done with this. Any insulation should be done while wearing a kilt. Oh, you're cooking corned beef and cabbage? Awesome. Very awesome. Well, yeah, that's fire season though too, right? It always happens, unfortunately. That Tanana Valley is like a giant bowl. When the smoke starts coming in, it's smoky everywhere. Thank you very much for that, Remy. Greatly appreciated. Of kilt prickliest? Nice. I've had a couple of people saying, what am I going to call a cabin? What am I going to call the property? I call it the cabin and the property. That's, I don't know. The last dog I had, I named him Fred, just because, hey, he needed a name and he looked like a Fred. Trudy, glad you could make it. Awesome to have you here today. Lip Zero, I've ever baked dill bread. I like to bake bread, and I'm getting, not this last winter, the winter before, I was really working on a sourdough starter and making traditional breads in the trailer, but it was too cold. It would take me a couple of days to rise that bread before I could bake it because of how cold it was in the trailer. And once I get in the cabin once I get everything in the cabin to where I want it, and I have an oven and everything, I'm going to get back into it again. And I would love to do a bunch of different herbed breads. I love bread. There's nothing like bread, fresh bread with butter. Oh, there's nothing like it. I love it. Yes, I think silvers are coho. I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah, they are. Silvers are coho, and kings are chinook, and reds are sockeye, uh, and then pink. I don't know what the other name is for pink. Philip, how you doing, my friend? Good to have you here today. I have never had muskox meat, but I've never. I mean, honestly, I don't think there's ever a meat that I've ever tried that I didn't care for. Um, I'm not really a huge fan of moose. I've eaten it, but I think it could have been processed improperly. Uh, but I love caribou. And I love sheep meat. So I bet you I'd love that. I bet you I'd be happy with that. Right? Yeah, it'd be nice to watch the start, Art. It'll be nice. It would be nice to watch the start. Lewis, how are you, my friend? Good to see you today. No one eats puppies. I've heard they're pretty good smoked and canned. You know that if you're a big fan of that most of the canned salmon that you buy is in fact pink anyway. But if you like to make like uh, like a salmon salad type of deal or a fish salad type of deal, that they're okay for that. Thank you very much, man. I'm gonna do some fishing this year. I'm gonna do some fishing in multiple locations this year, and I'm still not ruling out booking a fishing trip myself out on the inlet. I think that might be in the future this next month or two anyway. There's a chicken standing on the railing for the front door stairs looking at me through the window. And if you don't have chickens, you will not understand that. They are amazing. They are something else. I actually bought the kilt when I weighed less than this, but I will tell you that I the last belt that I had, I ended up having to go buy another belt because I'd already put too many holes in it, and there was no place left to put any more holes. So I actually had to go buy another belt because of that, and I've had to put another hole in that belt. So, yeah, it's dumped a bunch, dumped a bunch. Nice, I like that. I get the Sinatra lingo there. Nice. I'm a huge fan of dill. If you guys have never tried it, buy dill Havarti, and you will. From that point forward, you'll never want to buy regular Havarti again. It's just incredible. The flavor's fantastic. Susan, good to see you. Awesome to have you here. It's nice to be inside. It's super nice to be inside. I'm not sure if you might have said it, but I was wondering what you're going to. What I'm going to do in the garden. So I think I think this year, a couple of things I'm going to focus on are root stuff. So um, obviously potatoes, onions. Um, I might play around with uh, some other root vegetables, beets possibly because I like eating beets. And I don't know if I'm going to have time to do carrots right, but I'd like to do maybe some parsnips and some turnips. Uh, I'd like to have a section for lettuce. I won't be doing anything in the way of tomatoes or anything like that because I really need a greenhouse for that. I really need a hoop house for that. So it'll probably be about 25% of what I eventually plan to have in the garden because I have to build it all up from nothing. So I don't know how extensive it'll be, but there'll probably be maybe 20 varieties of stuff that I'm going to grow this year. And I'll have a better list on that in the next couple of weeks because I'm getting ready to start putting all that stuff together. Scrolling through here quick to see if there's anybody I missed. Bushrat, how are you today? Awesome to have you here today from Ontario, Canada. Very cool. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. Steve, awesome. Thanks, man. PJ Panda, how you doing, my friend? It's good to see you. Chum Dog Salmon. Yep, it is. Philip, I am so. This is the second week of me living in the cabin, and I will tell you that there is just as much of a learning curve moving into here as there was moving the trailer onto the property and being off grid there. But it's much nicer that every day when I'm done, I go upstairs and I go to bed in a bed. It's phenomenally incredible, and there's room in here. There's so much room in here. It's super super awesome. Ward, you out of here? It's almost time. We're getting close to the end anyway. Susan says, when I was last watching you, you were building outside my kilt. It's been a while. You've got to get caught up, Susan. I've been in the house now. I quit wearing the kilt a couple of months ago because Todd wouldn't help me put the roof on, and Ward said he wouldn't help me work on the property if I was wearing the kilt because I was up on the ladder, and they thought they didn't have to see that. So, Moises, good to see you. Awesome. You could from Peru. Very cool. Very nice. Marty wants to know, do I burn garbage? The only garbage that I burn is burnable garbage. So cardboards, boxes, paper, that kind of stuff I will throw in the campfire and burn, just because we don't need to get our landfill filled up with that. But going forward, I might actually just save some of that for layering in the garden to help with water retention and to help the plants. So not really a lot of stuff that I burn. Most of my garbage is actual garbage that gets dropped off to be hauled away. Vincenza, glad to see you, my friend. Awesome you could make it. You just finished work? That's good, though, because that means you're not as sick as you were and you're back to work again. I appreciate that. Is awesome. Awesome. Philip, I'm glad you cut the live here as well. Greatly appreciated. Well, guys, that's going to about pretty much do it for me. We've been going for about an hour now, and my phone just fell off of where it was, so it must be time to let me unplug it. There we go. Must be time to call it a day. Thank you guys for watching. As always, thank you for the constant support of everything that I'm doing up here. I greatly appreciate you guys joining me for the lives. I love the comments on the videos, and it's just incredible to me. The support that I get is phenomenal. Thank you guys. Hope you have a fantastic week. And man, if you got something you dream about doing, do it or try to do it. You're never going to be sorry if you try to do it. Trust me, because I sure as heck am not. Have a great day, guys. Have a great week. We'll talk to you later. I'm Sean in Alaska, and I'm out.